Hello, 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 and welcome back. These are the cookies. This is going to be the best chocolate chip cookie recipe that you have ever tried. Trust me, I have tried loads of them, and I think this is the best I have ever tried. I imagine as well it's the best executed in an oven, like in a house oven or like an electrical oven and not industrial oven. I imagine there might be some other recipes that are better, but yeah, no matter what I tried, this is what I got the best results of. So let's see what do we need. So I have all-purpose flour, and I'm adding around 1 tablespoon of cornstarch to it. I will write it in the description box, like all of the ingredients and how to measure them. Um, these are, I'm going to need some baking soda, of course. We don't add any baking powder to any cookie recipes that we, at least that I know of, like especially chocolate chips. Butter. I suggest that you get the best butter that you can like lay your hands on. Whatever that is the best that is available to you, get that. Vanilla, salt, I'm talking now sugars. We are going to get brown sugar and white sugar. Also, again, brown sugar gives you that gooiness and molassesy flavor and like all of those kind of nice kind of undertones. And the white sugar is going to help with the texture. So it's going to help with the, yeah, it's like binding and all. Now let's talk chocolates. These are caramels. So I have white chocolate and I have dark chocolate. I have caramel cubes. You need those because they are going to be even gooier than the chocolate that you're going to add. It's just going, if you are going to choose between the three types of like additives here, choose the dark chocolate and the caramel, and you can omit the white chocolate. But if you can get the three of them, then it's even better. Okay, here I just went to grab some eggs because we need 2 eggs in the recipe. And you want, I forgot to mention something, you want everything to be at room temperature. Very important. The butter is okay, you don't need to do that to it because now we're going to melt it into the stove to make some brown butter. This is one of the secrets. That brown butter, ah, it just adds an amazing flavor to these cookies. I have just discovered, I mean, I have been using like doing my brown butter thinking that is ghee and like making my own ghee, but this is it's just it's gonna go like a little bit darker than ghee, so it's just gonna get a little bit brown, and that nutty flavor that is gonna create is just going to be an amazing addition to the cookies. You're not going to leave this on the stove and go anywhere. Just stick by it, be there, continue stirring it, and you're looking for that color, for this brown color. Do not go darker than this because once you actually even turn off the stove and leave it to the side, it's still going to continue browning. So you don't want to go too dark so it doesn't burn, and you don't want the bitter flavor, you want the nutty flavor. So let it sit on the side for a little bit, like around 15, 20 minutes, just to cool down a little bit. Then add your sugars. And it's easier to use an electric whisk, but if you don't have that, you can just use a hand whisk. But it's gonna go for a really long time. Before I got this electrical one. I was using just a hand whisk, but it's an arm workout. So go on and just like whisk for a little bit. You don't need to go too much here. You don't want the sugars. The sugars are not going to melt now. Once you add the eggs, then the sugars are going to melt. So do not pressure yourself too much. Now I'm going to add the vanilla to the eggs, around just a teaspoon. Then I'm going to add the eggs and the vanilla to the sugar and the butter. Now, here you want to go whisking for a really long time. Let's say 7 minutes minimum. You want the sugars to melt. You want the eggs to be fluffy. You want air to get in. you, mind you, you did not add any, we're not adding any baking powder. So this is what is going to get your cookies to fluff a little bit in the oven. So make sure you do that until you reach the ribbon. If you want to go further and you want your eggs to go like fluffier, then you can continue to whisk. I'm adding some baking soda and a pinch of salt to the flour here. Mix everything together before you start cutting the chocolate. I prefer to have everything ready because I believe that the longer you leave the sugar and the eggs mixture on the side, the more that the sugar is going to continue cooking the eggs and like all of that kind of science. So you don't want to leave anything on the side for long except for the butter to cool down. Now, chop your chocolates the way you like it. If you're using chocolate chips, then you can definitely use that. I prefer to use the chocolate bar and cut it myself because I like to have like some bigger pieces and smaller pieces, and just it's just nicer. I'm adding the flour gradually to the egg and the sugar and butter mixture there, or to the wet ingredients. And you want to fold from bottom up. You don't want to like knead this butter, this cookies, these cookies. Like no kneading. It's just folding. This is another one secret. You just want to fold so your cookies are still soft and nice and not hard rock. Okay, I'm adding the dark chocolate here and the caramel cubes. Cut the caramel cubes into smaller cubes just because they're quite big and you just want them to be smaller so they can get distributed well. I'm also adding the white chocolate here too. And then you're going to fold everything again. Make sure that you don't over mix at all. You just want everything to be incorporated, and that's it. You stop there, right there. Now, we're going to cover this with a plastic wrap and we're going to put it in the fridge. You can go up to 3 days with with these cookies and with this dough, but I would say I have tested like after 24 hours and after 48 hours and after 3 days, and the best result was after 48 days. 48 days. No, 48 hours. Okay, but you can also freeze this dough and like in smaller batches, and whenever you need cookies, you can just take it out and bake it in the oven. You just let it melt a little bit, of course, like just not melt, like come to room temperature before you can put it in the oven. That in case if you freeze it. Same thing when you're putting it in the fridge. You need to take it out and put it a little bit to like come to room temperature or close to room temperature before you can bake it. I'm using just a tablespoon here, measuring spoon, but here is another tip. Do not roll the cookie dough. Do not try to circle it. Do not try to do anything. All what you need to do is you just put it between your palms and just squish it a little bit just to bring it together, but you want it to be chunky because this is what is going to give you that chunkiness as well in the oven when it bakes. You're baking this at 190 degrees for 9 to 11 minutes exactly. I go for 9 minutes, but every oven is different. Keep an eye on it, but don't go more than 11 minutes because then it's just not going to, it's going to be crumbly cookies more than gooey cookies. This is obviously is your preference, is what you like, how you like your cookies to be, but these cookies smell amazing, they taste amazing. Like look at this one, look at like how the chocolate is melty and the caramel, everything is so good. You have to try this recipe, and if you do, please let me know. And if you like it, like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys next time.